माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Canto 5, Chapter 18, Chapter title, The Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers, Text number 36. यस्य स्वरूपं कवयो विपश्चितो गुणेषु दारेषु इव जातवेदसम् मिथ्नन्ति मथ्ना मनसा दिदृक्षवो गूढं क्रियार्थैर्नम इरित्ततात्मने यस्य स्वरूपं कवयो विपश्चितो गुणेषु दारुषु इव जातवेदसम् मिथ्नन्ति मथ्ना मनसा दिदृक्षवो गूढं क्रियार्थैर्नमरितात्मने यस्य स्वरूपं कवयो विपश्चितो गुणेषु दारुषु इव जातवेदसम् मिथ्नन्ति मथ्ना मनसा दिदृक्षवो गूढं क्रियार्थैर्नमरितात्मने स्वरूपं कवयो विपश्चितो गुणेषु दारुषु इव जातवेदसम् गूढं
यस्य स्वरूपं कवयो विपश्चितो गुणेषु दारेषु इव जातवेदसम् नन्ति मत्ना मनसा दिदृक्षवो गूढं क्रियाते नमयीरितात्मने
माताजी What word meaning? Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What word meaning? Yasya, whose, Swarupam, form, Kavaya, the greatly learned sages, Vipaschita, expert in ascertaining the absolute truth, Guneshu, in the material manifestation, consisting of the three modes of nature, Darushu, in wood, Eva, like, Jata, manifested, Vedasam, fire, Mitnanti, stair, Matna, with a piece of wood, used for producing fire, Manasa, by the mind, Didrikshava, who are inquisitive, Godam, hidden, Kriya Artha hai, by fruitive activities and their results, Namaha, respectful obeisances, Iritatmane, unto the Lord who is manifested. Translation. By manipulating a fire-generating stick, great saints and sages can bring forth the fire lying dormant within wood. In the same way, O Lord, those expert in understanding the absolute truth try to see you in everything, even in their own bodies, yet you remain concealed. You are not to be understood by indirect process involving mental or physical activities. Because you are self-manifested, only when you see that a person is wholeheartedly engaged in searching for you, do you reveal him yourself. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. The word Kriyaarthe means by performing ritualistic ceremonies to satisfy the demigods. The word Vipaschite is explained in the Taittiriya Upanishad as follows. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Param Vyoman So Asnute Sarvam Kamam Sah Brahmana Vipaschite. As Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bhavunam Jnanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadayante. After many births and deaths, he who is actual in knowledge surrenders unto me. When one understands that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart and actually see the Lord present everywhere, he has perfect knowledge. The word Jata Veda means fire which is produced by rubbing wood. In Vedic time, learned sages could bring forth fire from wood. Jata Veda also indicates the fire in the stomach, which digests everything we eat and which produces an appetite. The word Gudha is explained in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha. The Supreme Person of Godhead is understood by chanting the Vedic mantras. Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutanantar Atma. He is all pervading and he is within the heart of all, within the heart of living entities. Karma Dhyaksha Sarva Bhuta Adhivasha. He witnesses all activities of the living entity. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. The Supreme Lord is a witness as well as living force. Yet he is transcendental to all material qualities. Om Ajnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utar Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Te Namale Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashchata Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurtivashe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhayasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. I'm seeking the blessing of all the Vaishnavas, especially Radheshyam Prabhu, Rup Goswami Prabhu, Manchodhan Prabhu and all other devotees, so that I can speak on the verse of the Bhagavatam to glorify Supreme Lord and serve all the Vaishnavas. So I just yesterday only this prayer started, spoken by Sachin Prabhu. So I just go to the back translation and then we'll continue today. So Sukdev Goswami said, Dear King, the Supreme Lord in his born incarnation who accept all sacrificial offerings, lives in the northern part of Jambudvip. There, in the tract of land known as Uttar Kuru Varsha, Mother Earth and all the other inhabitants worship him with unfailing devotional service by repeatedly chanting the following Upanishad mantra. O Lord, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you as the gigantic person. Simply by chanting mantras, we shall be able to understand you fully. You are yajna, sacrifice, and you are the kratu, ritual. Therefore, all the ritualistic ceremony of sacrifices are put of your transcendental body, and you are the only enjoyer of all sacrifices. Your form is composed of transcendental goodness. You are known as Tri Yuga because in Kali Yuga you appeared as a concealed incarnation, and because you always fully possess the three pairs of opulences. So yesterday this started. This is the seventh. This Varsha is there, where we saw that from beginning of this chapter, different Varshas, different worshipper plus different the Supreme Lord and all the inhabitants. They, along with the leader, those who are there, the main person of worshipper with their inhabitants, they offer very beautiful prayers. So, and today is Uttar Kuru Varsha, whereas the Supreme Lord is as a more incarnation, Vara Avatar, and the Mother Earth is offering along with the inhabitants beautiful prayers. So today prayers is mentioning there about the person who are engaged in fruitive activities. How the Prabhupada write in the translation, there is a direct way of approaching the Lord, and there is an indirect process. So a person who is engaged in the fruitive activities, so for them it is mentioned that, and for them it is mentioned that the Lord remain always keep himself hidden, concealed, so that he will not reveal to this kind of person, those who are engaged in the fruitive activities and approaching the Lord for fulfilling their material desire. Because they also wanted whatever they wanted from the Lord, ye yatha mahaprapadyante, because as they approaching to the Lord for some other than to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so accordingly the Lord is providing the result. But ahead it goes that the direct way, but you are self-manifested only when you see that a person is wholeheartedly engaged in searching for you. Do you reveal yourself? Therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So in this purport, Prabhupada is taking one by one words and very nicely explaining by quoting the different verses from the Upanishad and other things. At the end, Prabhupada is mentioning that Lord himself is the giver of your whatever way you, Lord himself is the giver of the result. He will himself will provide the result. Like he sees that in what way a person is coming to him and offering worship. So if one is coming for material benefit, like the fruity workers are engaged, and then Lord will give him facilities. It's not that Lord will give him all the facilities, but he will keep himself very hidden, so that he will, and that person also is just coming for that purpose only, not wanted to the law of the Lord. And at the end, here it's mentioned that he is all pervading and he is within the heart of living entities. So he witnesses all the activities in the living entities, and the Supreme Lord is a witness as well living the force. So he only see that what attitude a person is coming and to approaching him. So therefore according to that he will give the result. So in this translation, Prabhupada is mentioning both way. A person, one who is engaged in pure devotional service, and the person who is engaged in other than pure devotional service. So for us also, very important as we are seeing in our temple, so many every day this Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, so many Bhagavatam studies is going on. Morning 2 classes, afternoon and evening Hindi classes. So much this temple now we have got blessed to read this Bhagavatam and see the hand of the Lord in the by our daily routine way, by taking the examples from the Bhagavatam. So in the course of knowing what is actually devotional service, this also becomes the part of that to know that what is not devotional service. So this is also the part of that we should understand that what is not devotional service, what pleases to the Lord and what not pleases to the Lord. So just like here example is given. Just so so very important to understand that part of the activity, what is pleases and what is not pleases. Here I just go to one verse. In as a Bhakti Vedanta, this 10th canto is going on. So Prabhuji is taking 10th canto. So and there also in our group study, we are also reading 10th canto. So there it comes to the this 10th canto, 10th chapter, this pastime of this Lord delivering to these two sons of Kuvera. So there, where there it is one verse comes, there where the Lord is saying to this, after getting delivered, these two Kuvera, these two sons of the Kuvera, then Lord is there. Lord is just explaining to them actually what devotional service. So there it is mentioned that Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki Jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. So there it is mentioned that although these two young men are the sons of very rich Kuvera, and I have nothing, so Lord is saying that I have nothing to do with them. Devarishi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee. Therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. So from this we can understand that these two sons of Kuvera, they were having so much material qualifications, but one cannot understand to the Lord by through this material facilities and material opulences. So on the other side, these material opulences actually make one's intoxicated, and this become the one become this proud of their different way. Like here, these two sons of this Kuvera, when they were engaged in these sinful activities, so they just Narad Muni came there, and then they were just not giving any fear of that saintly person is there. So therefore, they become so much their material qualification, they become intoxicated and then become proud, not recognize the presence of the great soul. So in this way, there are more. We can see the example from the Bhagavatam. Actually, what is not Krishna conscious activity? What is not a devotional activity? Because Bhagavatam speak both. What is devotional service and what is not devotional service? He gives the both examples. So as we saw this Nal Kuvera Manigara example, there are more examples are also there, which is explain that which is not a devotional activities. Like as we see the example of Daksha. Daksha also was, what is the cause of Daksha's doing this sinful activities? The cause is that it is mentioned that because he was chosen as the chief of the progenitors, and it makes him proud that I have given this post, and then I have adhikar that I can do anything, and then he started offending a great soul. So these are the examples, but it is mentioned that how when one is engaged in devotional service, we should be very careful that how properly know that what I have to do. So here, just like Prabhupada is explaining there in the translation, Lord will not reveal himself to those who are engaged in this kind of activities, and therefore there are more examples we can see that. So when we approach Lord, because as we know that while engaging in devotional service, we have given this kind of so much facilities is there in our, we get so much facilities. So how we are just using that proper facility in the service of the Lord, other than by misusing that. So this will this will show us that which will not pleases to the Lord. Another side, what pleases to Lord is mentioned that when you see the person is wholeheartedly engaged in searching for you, do you reveal yourself? So when we see that the devotees are nicely practicing devotional service with the purpose that to please the Lord, and there is no other any motive. So in this way, then it will very much pleases to the Lord. So when you wholeheartedly engage in searching means, what actually wholehearted? I was contemplating this word when we were mentioning that before also, 2 words before also it is mentioned that all the inhabitants worship to the Lord Vara with unfailing devotional service by repeatedly chanting the mantras. And the Prabhupada in today's purport is also mentioning that. In Vedic time, the learned sages, the word Goda is explained in the Supreme Lord is understood by chanting the Vedic mantras. So by practicing this, as we know that yesterday, Sachinand Prabhu also explained that the purpose of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming here, very nicely is explaining that Lord is called as the not avatar. He is not an avatar. He is an avatari. He himself has came to give the holy name to Lord, holy name to everyone. So therefore here it is mentioned that the process of chanting holy name is the prime process from this all the Vedic mantras. So therefore, now we can also understand that what it actually means wholeheartedly engage in devotional service. It means that consciously engage in activities which is pleasing to the Lord. As of course, we may not be. No one of us has this maybe engage in the fruitive activity. But we should also understand that in the course of engaging in devotional service, my activity will not become the mechanical way. Like a daily activity should not become the mechanical way. So therefore, consciousness is very much important. Consciously we have to engage in the devotional activities. That will please us to the Lord. Like as in 10th canto, Prabhu was giving example that how this Vasudeva and Devaki, first chapter. So this Vasudeva and Devaki, they were knowing that as soon as the child will take birth, then Kamsa will kill him. So in the course of knowing all these things, still they were giving birth to the child. So one may ask the question, so if it is the reason that the child is going to be killed by Kamsa, then why they are giving birth to the child? So there are two things were mentioned there. So there were 2 things there. First thing was their material attachment to the children, like this Vasudeva, and then service to the Supreme Lord, because they are knowing that the 8th child the Supreme Lord is going to appear. So they were having 2 options. One side is that become attached to the children, because every parents, they know that how the child is very dear to them. It will become very difficult for them to see the child in front of their eyes to get killed. So that was attachment, that is called the material attachment to having the 6 children. Another side is that having the service to the Supreme Lord, as the 8th child is going to appear as in the womb of Devaki. So then they choose as to be in the service of the Supreme Lord, and so therefore they are ready to choose of the service to Supreme Lord. For doing this service, they are ready to go any kind of difficulties. So these are the, actually we can understand that these are the activities. Of course, at our level, we may not be in that consciousness to this time, but we know that these are the principle. These are the actually processes there where maybe at any time anything can become. So therefore, but from their example, we can understand that focusing on more on to the pleasing to the Supreme Lord and engaging in service of the Lord will become more than the wanting some other material facilities, all these things. Many more examples are there. From this we can understand that what actually pleases to the Lord. Like we see that how this Parikshit Maharaj got cursed. So when he got cursed, he was going to die for 7 days. So then he took it very positively, not as in the blaming zone or anything. So then then we can understand that actually it was like a normal day was for him. He was not knowing that this thing is going to happen. When the person goes to the daily routine life, so he was not knowing that what things is going to happen. So similarly, the Parikshit Maharaj was doing everyday activity, but suddenly he got cursed. So, but he took it very positively. He not took blaming zone or anything, and then he just gave up everything, and then went to the bank of the Ganges and approaching to the different kind of rishis, and then heard the Bhagavatam. So similarly, for the service of the Lord, they can ready to go any kind of challenges. As we see in Bharat Maharaj case, their verse comes to glorify the Bharat Maharaj. Yo dustaja dara sutan surhad rajam hridis prasha jo ho yueva malavat uttama shloka lalasa. So there, for the glorification of the Bharat Maharaj, what is mentioned there? While in the prime of life, the great Maharaj Bharat gave up everything because he was fond of serving the Supreme Person of Godhead, Uttama Shloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children, great friends, and a numerous empire. Although these things very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharat was so exalted that he gave them up. Just as one gave up stool after evacuating, such was the greatness of his majesty. So this kind of the challenges when come in the life, when someone's life, that we don't know that what will happen, but we can understand from that through the scripture, through Bhagavatam, every day reading Bhagavatam, every day Bhaktivedanta, Bhakti, we can get so many nice lessons from the Bhagavatam, how we live our life in a proper way. So consciously to remain focused on the what Krishna conscious activity is there. So more as we see that actually these are the example where this Bharat Maharaj is giving up everything, possessions, property, whatever attachment, actually to give up this family life and then everything what material possession was there is not very easy. That is also at very young age, not that his age will come to get retirement, and then after getting retirement then one can and then go to the worship to Lord. But at a very young age he gave up everything. And then similarly as we see the example of this Parikshit Maharaj also, same thing. So there are more examples will be there we can find from this Bhagavatam, how this actually devotional activity is so nice that it can, by engaging in devotional activities day to day routine basis, then all our material attachments will become gone automatically. So when one positively engage, then negative things will go away. So this, like we see in the case of this King Prataparudra. So King Prataparudra, he was was a king, and then he was having all the facilities, material. He was very rich, and so much strength. Everything was there, which normal people try to dream that I also get someday. But one thing was not getting actually, was mercy of the Supreme Lord. Then everything in his life is become useless. That nothing can be achievable for that. So there this verse comes. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter number 11. So where King Prataprudra is telling to Sarvam Bhattacharya, Tara pratigya more na karibe darshana, mora pratigya taha vinashadi va jivan. So King Prataprudra is telling that this is the Lord, if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is determined not to see me, then I am also determined to give up my life if I do not see him. So यदि से ही महाप्रभु न पाए कृपा धन किबा राजा किबा देह सब अकारण. If I do not receive Lord Chaitanya mercy, my body and my kingdom are certainly useless. So you think that if I not get any mercy of Supreme Lord, then everything whatever I have is like no use only. So therefore I ready to give up everything and become bigger, and I have to give up my life also. So then what happened? Ete suni sarvabhauma haila chintita raja anuraga dekhi na haila vismita. Hearing King Prataprudra determination, Sarvam Bhattacharya became thoughtful. Indeed, he was very much astonished to see the king's determination. So these are the examples where we can understand how actually, and many more examples we find that what actually devotional service and what is not. So while going through the process of our engaging in Krishna consciousness, we should be positively engaged, and we should be we give up the things which are like blocking us to become more and more focused in Krishna consciousness. Like here it is mentioned that so in the case of this King Prataprudra, as we know the whole pastime, how this will begin. King Prataprudra was very much, beginning onwards only, he was very much attached to the Supreme Lord. He wanted to the mercy of the Lord, and he tried so much. So many ways he tried, different ways. But then he was not getting any kind of mercy. Then Sarvam Bhattacharya was trying to approach Sarvam Bhattacharya, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Ramanand Rai. But at last he was not getting any mercy. So then but by seeing their determination actually, not that the daily routine engagement of Krishna consciousness. So Prataprudra, so much determination was there to get the audience at the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Then Lord agreed to give him mercy, which is there it is mentioned that wholeheartedly. So wholeheartedly means that consciously engage, that is that my activity in Krishna consciousness is pleasing to the Lord or not pleasing to the Lord. So so as we know that how yesterday Sachin Mahaprabhu was explaining that is when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to is to just give Krishna consciousness to everyone. As today morning only just Prabhupada class I was reading, I was hearing. So Prabhupada was mentioning that actually this is a message of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that those who have taken birth in the India. So Prabhupada explained that actually Bharat land is there, and the people of the Bharat, for they are not meant to do sense gratification. So they are only meant to do austerity. So don't try to imitate all these Westerners, Prabhupada was giving lecture in here, in Hyderabad somewhere. He was saying that so the people of Bharat land are only meant for to perform austerity and helping to the whole society, to the whole country to give Krishna consciousness. Like then Prabhupada explaining what actually austerity means. The Prabhupada saying that austerity means which you are engaging in that activity, and even which is not, that activity is not good for the making progress in Krishna consciousness, and then you have to give up, you are agreed to give up that. Like then he gives example of this Westerner. For Westerner devotees, for them to engage all these sinful activities from the childhood onwards, it was very normal for them. For them, it is not, they are engaged in so many these sinful activities. But now, they have given up everything and they have become a devotee. So therefore, that is called as austerity. Similarly, what is austerity for this Indian people? For them also, as the Indians, that time also only Indians were just going so much Westerners. So that time for them also they have to follow all this four relative principle. And then for them the austerity is that they have to just engage yourself completely into the making everyone as a devotee. That is for them as a greatest austerity. Otherwise, there is no use of this getting, as Prabhupada was going ahead so much, that there is no use of that, getting birth in India and living the life. There is no purpose of living life, and then one day will die. So therefore, one should take benefit of this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This process is there, and this process, after accepting this Krishna consciousness, then distribute to everyone. So this was nicely explained, as the Gaur Purnima is also coming. Yesterday, Sachin Mahaprabhu nicely explained that purpose of this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming to this world. So, as we come to this our verse, so here in translation it is mentioned that this karmi, the fruitive activity, or you are not to be understood by indirect process of involving fruitive activity or physical activities. So Prabhupada is telling this, giving this example: by manipulating a fire generating stick, great saints and sages can bring the dormant within fire lying dormant within the wood. So previously this we are doing, and Prabhupada is mentioning the purport for us to understand also this. This indicates the fire in the stomach also, which digests everything we eat and which produces an appetite. So at least this experience we can have, that how much this fire in the stomach then generate. So what this comparison of this, Prabhupada is explaining that similarly the Gyanis, or to the Bhakta, those who are engaging positively in the Krishna consciousness, they know the Lord is residing in one's heart, and then they see the Lord's in their heart, and then they approach to Him. So therefore, here it is mentioned that the word Jata Veda means that, that is not. So therefore, one can see that how the Lord is easily available for them, to one who is wholeheartedly engaged in the devotional activities. So now, after explaining this practical, I was thinking that how this stages where it is mentioned that what is not Krishna consciousness, by giving example of Daksha and Nalkuvar and Manigrave, and the positive examples. Actually, I was just again hearing Radhanath Swami Maharaj class, as that we know that all of you have heard that his realization on the bank of Ganges, just 2 days back only somehow or other, again after 10-15 years, when it was the journey home book was there. So that time I heard this after 10-15 years, almost 10-12, whatever year. I heard yesterday when it came in the while series of lectures. So that time actually that makes very different what I heard that before. So yesterday that Maharaj was nicely explaining actually that I was meditating on the sitting on the bank of the Ganges, and I was seeing how the Ganges water is flowing very nicely. And the description of that hawk was given, that is the blue feather, and his eyes was very shining, the sunlight was there, and he was looking at to the water, river. And then I was also just, and it came very close to me, and suddenly goes inside to the river, and just caught the fish. And the lesson Maharaj told, that I heard before, but now I felt very actually, because as you are going reading Bhagavatam every day, so it will become very lively example, that how this, Maharaj was saying that for him the fish to go to the, the fish was with family only, and engaging nicely daily activities, and not knowing that one thing, that hawk is watching to fish. And the same thing, this time as is watching for all of us is going ahead. So then hawk is watching, and then suddenly the day come that hawk just caught the fish and then took away. So he was comparing this at our life also, daily routine life, engagement, where we go in our life. But suddenly one day something will happen, and then we may also give up. But is that when things will happen, is that we are in proper consciousness to take that challenge properly. So this thing we are explaining. And then different examples of devotees also gave Maharaj, as he was saying that Bhakti, he was giving the Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj examples. And so many examples gave Maharaj about how these devotees, when they were passing this kind of stages, they took it very positively. So similarly, when we are just going through this consciousness, is that things, when the things will come, that is that our consciousness is proper to be give up life that time. So therefore, it very helping this, the seeing the Bhagavatam in our daily life, that how it is helping me into make my consciousness properly. So I just shared whatever direct, indirect way of approaching to the Lord, and what are the direct way. All of you are more experienced, and all of you have so much way to give so many examples of what are the direct way of approaching the Lord. So I just found this from the scripture. So I just end here only. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Free.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Manmohan. Beautiful. That example, Maharaj's example was very nice. The fish was getting caught because it was very much on the surface. It was not deep in the water. So he got caught by the hawk. Thank you. Actually, this verse, which is on the board just now, Prabhuji spoke. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has given a beautiful commentary to this, where he says that, see the first line, Yasya Swarupam. Swarupam is Krishna's form. Kavayo means learned people like Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis and all. They are Kavayaha. And Vipaschit means he is saying devotees. So what is the method that Kavayaha they take? They take a speculative approach by churning the body and mind, he says. Matnanti matna. Churning the body and mind. So how do the karmis churn the body? By performing kriya. The word is there, see, kriya arthainam. So they do the karmakanda sacrifices. But gudham, Lord is not visible to them. That means even if you do karmakanda sacrifices, or you do the pranayama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, which are all speculation of the mind, which is superior to kriya, above karmakanda. But by both these processes, Lord is gudham. He is not visible. But then how is the Lord? Second line says, Guneshu Darushu Iva Jata Vedasam. In a wood, there is fire, but fire is dormant. But if you take arani sticks and rub it to the wood, like that fire will come out. Similarly, Paramatma is dormant in our heart. So body is compared to wood. In this bodily wood, Paramatma is present. But how to wake up the Paramatma? He says that the devotees of the Lord, he says, they rub the mind with the Lord's name and form, he is saying. By using Guneshu. Guneshu, he says, is the senses. With our senses, like the tongue, we utter Hare Krishna, like that we utter the sound and hear it with the ears, and combining it with the mind, they see the form of the Lord and hear the name of the Lord. So those devotees who are regularly seeing the form of the Lord and hearing the name of the Lord and combine it, while withdrawing themselves from sense gratification. On the other hand, those people who do Kriya with keeping their mentality as Falakankshi. That means they do the Karma Kanda sacrifices with the mentality of expectation of fruits. For them, Lord is invisible. But those devotees who withdraw their mind from fruity mentality, that means, they don't do the fruity activities, nor do they expect the karma fal also. Those who renounce it, withdraw themselves and focus their senses and mind on the name and form of the Lord exclusively with didrukshava, he says. Didrukshava means with aspiration to see Him. They only can see Him. Like that he says. Such beautiful words, no? See, yasya swarupam kavayo vipaschito. So kavayo is all this karmi jnani yogi. Vipaschita is the devotees. Guneshu darushi iva jata vedasam. Jata vedasam is the fire. Jata vedasam is just as the fire emanates from the wood, like that Lord as Paramatma will emanate from our heart. For whom? For only the devotees who are free from fruitive mentality and speculation. Jnana karmadi anavrtam. And they exclusively devote their mind and senses to searching after the Lord. So he gave a beautiful example in his class of Prataprudra. As soon as he told Prataprudra, I felt he really captured the right example. Because there was, in Chaitanya Charitamrita you will find, very difficult to find someone like Prataprudra who was constantly after attaining the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, his mentality becomes clear. When Ramananda got mercy, he was very happy. Anybody gets mercy, even seeing that he was very happy. He was longing and longing and longing, and at last he attained the mercy of the Lord. That is didrukshava. That means we should long for the Lord's mercy, and like arani sticks, our mind and senses are compared to arani sticks. We should rub it with the name and form of the Lord constantly by keeping ourselves pure and with exclusive attention on the Lord, without mixing our mind with fruitive mentality, like the karma kandis or the jnanis and yogis. If we do that, for them, gudam kriya arthainam. See, kriya means karma kanda, arthainam means fruitive mentality. So, gudam kriya arthainam. If you are going to be fruitive in our life, we will never see the Lord. It becomes opaque. Because when you want to get name, fame, glory, popularity, or you want to enjoy the fruits, then Lord becomes invisible. He puts a curtain in front of us. Then Lord says, you enjoy whatever you want. Enjoy something material. He leaves. But if one is ready to give up the material fruitive mentality and speculation and approach the Lord in an exclusive manner, then Irit Atmane. That last word, Irit Atmane, is Irita is described, and Atmane means endeavor. Only devotees who constantly endeavor with didrikshava, aspiration, they only can see SS Swarupam, he says. The Shyam Chakravarti, very beautiful. So, the Prataprudra example he gave, I wish he elaborated even more than what he elaborated, which will explain the didrikshava word very well. The hankering and eagerness that Prataprudra had is very exemplary, which is worth cultivating by all of us. Thank you. Hari Bol.